Hello everyone and welcome back to another brand new video. Today we're going to be going over the most recent episode of Pokémon Horizons, and this episode continues off from the last one where the kids are still trying to take pictures of wild Pokémon for their project that Jacques assigned them. And they're all kind of doing pretty poorly. None of them are able to really get a picture, but we're focusing more on Roy today, specifically with Wattrel, who hasn't had an episode focusing on him in such a long time, so I was really happy to see this. In this episode, we see that he's still struggling with his flying. Particularly, he struggles with flying in really harsh wind. And this is really bothering him, and I kind of like this element that it seems that he's really bugged that his mobility is still so low, whereas Fuecoco has gotten much better with his movements through his learning of Flame Charge, which he shows off a lot in this episode. He uses his Flame Charge to run up trees and get berries for Roy, which he's trying to use to attract wild Pokemon. And we can see that this really bothers Wattrel because Fuecoco is able to help in a way that he cannot, which is really interesting because Wattrel had the better mobility in that he could at least fly a little bit, but now Fuecoco is doing better than him at that, so that really bothers him to the point that he actually leaves in the middle of the night to try to train on his own. But that ends up getting interrupted by Rhyme, who debuts here, and I'm wondering if this is hinting at Rhyme being the next opponent Roy will have to face for his Terrestrial Challenge, because we know that, and we see here in this episode again, that Roy and Fuecoco really enjoy singing, whereas Rhyme is a rapper and she raps here, and Roy even ends up rapping later on in the episode. So I think that would really work well with them too, having that kind of connection. So yeah, if they end up facing each other later for the Terrestrial test, I wouldn't be surprised, but we'll have to wait and see. Regardless, later on in the episode, throughout this entire episode actually, Roy is kind of trying to take a picture of this Capsicid, but he's always failing to do so, and he sees the Capsicid all throughout the episode. He even sees it at night when Rhyme appears, and he sees it throughout the day, stranded after having fallen down a little cliff, and so he goes to rescue it, and he ends up rescuing it with Wattrel, and so he's able to fly down and get it and bring it to safety, but he's unable to get Roy at this point, so Roy just tries to climb up by himself, but he slips and falls, and so Wattrel dives down to save him, and he actually ends up evolving into Kilowattrel, which kind of surprised me. I thought it was a possibility because the trailer kind of implied that it would happen, though I wasn't too sure because Wattrel hadn't done all too much in the series that in my opinion would warrant evolving, but that's not too surprising because we've had lots of evolutions in this show that were pretty quick and the Pokemon didn't do too much, so it's not too big of a deal, and I'm really happy to see the evolution because now Wattrel is able to fly on his own perfectly, and that was really great to see. We also see him getting along more with Fuecoco at the end. He flies him around. And so yeah, the entire scene at the very end was just really great. It was nice to see Kilowattrel finally being able to do better and grow. And I hope we get to see more of him now since he has evolved and maybe he can be actually used in more battles. If anything, I think him evolving and facing Rhyme would make sense because she actually battles in the double battle format, if you guys remember in the games. So seeing Fuecoco and Kilowattrel work together would actually be really cool in my opinion. But again, we'll have to wait and see. Overall, a really good episode. Glad to get some development for Wattrel and to see him now evolve into Kilowattrel. And I really hope we get to see more of him moving forward. Thank you all so much. You guys can let me know in the comments what you guys thought of this episode. And I will see you all next time. Thank you.